the last new city for us on the trip.
And our first stop is the castle.
You can't really get much cooler than that.
Do I have any room in my backpack for clothes? Absolutely not.
I'm sorry you guys have to put up with this.
Well, we made it to Cardiff. What an incredibly long day. Like, such an incredibly long day, but I'm so happy we're here. We just need to get like an Uber to the hotel and then get food. Then we have 2 full days to explore, which I'm really happy because 2 days will be nice, not like a day and a half if our transport didn't work out today. So. Tiny room, but I'm not complaining. Hey, this is actually good in the long run because in just 3 days we're going back to our first ever hostel and we're going back to bunk beds. So let's enjoy it, right, Bray?
Yeah. The hostel where it all began. And ultimately, I think, I mean, probably it's not among the best, but it's also not among the worst.
I mean, it's definitely very low on our list. But we also went like super hostel, like we stayed in like an 18 or 20 bed room the last time, or our first time.
Oh yeah.
So we it was super loud and lots of people. So this time we're staying in just a 4 bed.
Yes, probably won't be too bad, but that's a few days away. Right now we have this nice cozy little room. Our long travel day, this long adventure of a day is finally over, so I think we're just probably gonna do like an Uber Eats situation and pass out. So
and we'll see you tomorrow when we explore Cardiff. So glad that we're here, I have to say.
Yeah,
it was so discouraging this morning. I was so nervous about not getting here. We literally have tattoos of the mileage, and we were like,
and it depended on us getting this train, basically this route to Cardiff, so it all worked out.
Yeah,
so we're here. See you guys in the morning. Okay, so we're here in Cardiff. It's our first of 2 days in the city, and it's gonna be an interesting one because this is the last new city for us on the trip. We have 1 city left, that's London, but we've already been there, so we're returning for a few days to sort of close out our 3 months in Europe. But it's not over yet. We still have Cardiff to explore, and honestly, Lauren and I both know very little about Wales. The most I sort of know about it is one of my favorite bands, Stereophonics, is from Wales. I'm a big British panel show nerd, so I know people like Rob Brydon and Rod Gilbert, Alex Jones from The One Show. Like, I know of Welsh people, but I don't know much about Wales or the history. So we're gonna learn a little bit about that, and we're just going to see the capital here.
And our first stop is the castle. So we have decided to do the guided tour, mainly because you get a lot more bang for your buck for only £4 £5 extra, you get to see 5 extra rooms. And I also prefer guided tours a lot of the time since we don't really know the history. The tour guides obviously know a ton, but we have an hour to wait until the next guided tour. But there is a museum that we're gonna check out now, right here, I think, right?
I think so.
Yeah. Let's see.
So the museum actually did a really good job laying out the history of Wales and the history of Cardiff Castle before you get to go exploring it. I could be misremembering this, but I want to say that Norman invaders built the original castle on top of a Roman fort, and then over time it was added to and changed and everything. But regardless, that section was upstairs, and then you get to go downstairs, and there are interactive elements, there are artifacts from, Welsh history, more modern stuff like weaponry, military uniforms. It's very interesting to explore and see this before getting to go to the castle. You're right. Definitely the closest to Tower of London since Tower of London, which makes complete sense, but...
Well, I would say, actually, the castle in Prague is closer to the Tower of London because it was like its own city with the church and all that stuff.
That's true.
This is its own, like when you think of a castle with a fire-breathing dragon, I think of something like this, don't you?
They do have the fire-breathing dragon, just right down there.
And the Oscar goes to
Brian for the travel vlog of Cardiff, Wales.
Which is why I think this one is so cool personally, because, they have a dragon on the flag, and there's just, dragon stuff everywhere, so you can't really get much cooler than that. So first things first, this is obviously a very condensed version of the tour, what you're about to see. We filmed many, many more rooms, but we didn't want this to be a 30-minute video just about Cardiff Castle. And honestly, with these videos, we hope that people are sort of inspired to go visit these places themselves. And so we don't want to show you everything and leave you nothing to discover. But there is one thing that really stood out, and this room is a perfect example. So what you're seeing are a bunch of children's stories, nursery rhymes, etc., muraled around what was a child's room. The first room you saw was an astrology-based room, had zodiacs, had the sun, the moon, stars in various locations, as well as different months, I think, were sort of marked in there. There's a bedroom that you're about to see where I think it was Marquis of Bute. He was very into animals. He's the one who had, I think William Burgess was the name of the architect, sort of redo the inside of the castle here. So he was into animals, and so there are animals placed certain places around the bedroom. Every single room basically was so specific, you wouldn't really know it unless you did research into it or did a tour like we did. But once things are pointed out to you why things are placed in certain locations, you start to realize just how elaborate this was. It wasn't just made to look pretty, there was a purpose behind pretty much everything in Cardiff Castle. And moving outside of it, it was finally time to explore the keep. So it's interesting because the keep isn't too large, and from a distance, you can see that it's not too large. But there ended up being a lot more space inside than I think either of us were expecting. So there was a little bit of exploration here as we made our way to the top. And once we got up there, we had a really great view of Cardiff.
Super cool.
Bit out of breath.
As always, but hey.
that is the stadium, the rugby stadium. Principality Stadium, I believe it's called. I believe this is Butte Park. And back down we go. And so with the castle and the keep explored, it was now time to go check out the arcades. And not the gaming kind. Not really a lot open. I don't know if that's because we are too early or because it's too late, but I don't think it's that late. It's afternoon. So maybe everything is just about to open. Yes, we are in another vintage clothing store. If you've watched these vlogs, you've realized that wherever there is one to be found, Lauren will find it, Lauren will want to come inside, and Lauren will want to do a little bit of shopping. So, what's a guy to do but just hang around for a while and watch her get excited.
To like get ready in? Like on our wedding day?
It is.
Why am I shopping? For clothes of all things. Christmas.
A few moments later.
Freedom! We are out of the shop, but somebody...
I got this. Do I have any room in my backpack for clothes? Absolutely not. But it's my souvenir from Cardiff. So.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard for me to... I have no ground to stand on after shipping a sword home in Edinburgh. So
Yeah, but
she can basically get whatever she wants for this last week. And
Wait,
there's nothing I can...
Okay. We're gonna go find like an adoption center and grab a dog or something if that's the case.
I'm sorry you guys have to put up with this. And so after some more exploration of Cardiff and the arcades, it was time to take a visit to the world's oldest record store, Spillers. We're about to be there in 3 days, maybe 2 days. Excited. And then after a few more hours of exploring Cardiff, we went, got some dinner, got this amazing dessert. I can't even remember what all was in here. So many different things. But we'll leave it to Lauren to give some profound insight into this dessert. Lauren?
A lot of flavors.
Thanks, Lauren. Okay, so we are now on the way to see a few buildings. One of them, I believe, is the government building. I think it's called the Senedd. Forgive me, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. The Millennium Center is another one that looks really interesting on the outside. We're seeing those as we make our way to the Bay area and the Mermaid Key. So that's kind of the direction we're headed. We walked through kind of a residential area for the last 20 minutes, so we're going to keep that going until we get to the Millennium Center. I think it's the first stop, and I believe we can see it in the distance. Very interesting choice there. Definitely makes it stand out. It's a bit smaller of a building than I thought it would be, but yeah, I like the contrast of that roof with the glass walls. And this is just a gorgeous view here.
The sun is like really bright right now. It's really pretty though.
I think we're both kind of suckers for just being near the water. Many times on this trip we just get down to a waterfront. It's like, oh, it's so beautiful. But, you know, when you're in a city center most of the time and you get out to mountains or rivers, lakes, oceans, even just like, you know, beautiful parks, that stuff really does it for us. I mean, beautiful buildings and fun things do it for us too. So we kind of have it any way we wanted on this trip, and it's been great. Sadly, it's coming to an end. It's hard not to just think about it. We keep reflecting on it, talking about it all the time, how we only have 6 days left before we fly home. This is our last new city, even though we'll be exploring London more thoroughly when we go back, but regardless. Strange to have done this and to be here now at the end. Another observation that I just want to throw in really quick for anybody who isn't familiar with Wales, it's a very similar situation that we had in Ireland when we were in Dublin, where signs here are, and I don't know if it's like a law, I don't know if it's mandatory, but yeah, signs are in both Welsh and English, all signs, and well, not just signs, everything seems to be in both Welsh and English. Just like in Ireland, it was Gaelic and English. So just an interesting little observation that even though we're in a primarily English-speaking nation here, I mean, I don't necessarily know what Welsh sounds like, so people could be speaking Welsh around me and I wouldn't know it. But yeah, it's interesting that you sort of feel like you're in a place that's a bit more foreign than it actually is, just because of the addition of a language that you don't understand on all of the different signage. So. All right, so we have made it as far as Penarth. I think that's maybe how it's pronounced. And we're gonna go pop in for some coffee, warm up a bit because it is chilly. There's a lot of wind around here. So that's the next stop. And then from there, probably work our way kind of back towards city center. We've definitely got more of a look today at, I feel like how just normal everyday people live around here, because we walked through a lot of residential areas. It hasn't just been, you know, moving through or around city centers, or, you know, taking public transport just to various tourist destinations. We've certainly done our fair share of walking today, and yeah, seen a lot of flats, a lot of homes, and a lot of areas that really don't have too much in them. But I think that's always nice to do once in a while.
Just defrosting. I'm
all
just gonna
cold.
hold it. I'm not gonna even drink it. I'm just gonna hold it.
Well, I'm gonna drink.
Two hours later.
So 15 pounds later, we have our laundry. Super happy and relieved that we got that done. Now we're gonna go back to our hotel, do some, I don't know. I don't really even know what to say.
So Lauren saw this earlier when she was taking the laundry to get done. She found my house here in Cardiff.
Not quite.
Yeah, I know, it's beautiful. Everybody's jealous. Oh, what's that tower there?
I don't know. I gotta pee though.
Yeah, I do too. Well, it wouldn't be a travel day if there wasn't some little hiccup. Our train is delayed.
Quite a bit.
Yeah,
We're supposed to leave in 10 minutes and train isn't getting here for another 40.
which is not
Whatever,
terrible compared
yeah.
to other travel days we've had. It's just a delay. Hopefully that's the only issue today. It's just a 2-hour train ride.
And
it's
straight through, too.
Straight through, and it's our last train journey on this entire trip.
Yeah. Which I'm happy about.
Yeah, it's our last travel day other than just going home. So
We're getting into London, back to Swiss Cottage, the place where it all began.
yes, it's gonna be such a bizarre feeling. In a
Yeah.
few hours we will be stepping foot in the very first hostel we ever went to, in the very first city abroad we ever went to. Unless you count Toronto for me, which, does that really count? To you Canadian viewers, there's nothing against Toronto.
Yeah.
It's just, if you're from the US, Toronto, it doesn't feel very foreign, you know? Anyway, let's get on a train whenever it arrives, and let's head to London.
This may be Brian's best day of his life.
I imagine this goes on all day, every single day.
And what's cool is this is all free.